Life will always throw challenges our way, and people will often test our patience, energy, and peace of mind. But the true strength of character lies not in reacting to every distraction, but in training ourselves to remain unbothered. Being unbothered does not mean being careless or emotionless. It means mastering the art of choosing where to place your focus and refusing to let negativity disturb your inner balance. Mastering emotional control is one of the most valuable skills you can ever develop in life. It is the foundation of an unbothered mindset because it teaches you that while you may not always have control over what happens around you, you always have control over how you respond. Many people allow external situations or other people's words to dictate their emotions, and as a result, they spend their lives in a cycle of frustration, anger, and disappointment. But when you begin to master emotional control, you reclaim your power. You no longer hand over the steering wheel of your peace of mind to others, you drive your own emotions. Think of how often in daily life people react instantly to triggers. Someone cuts them off in traffic and they explode with rage. A colleague makes a rude comment and they carry the irritation all day. A loved one says something insensitive and suddenly their mood is destroyed. These reactions may feel natural, but in truth, they show a lack of control. The moment you let an external factor disturb your inner state, you have surrendered your peace. Emotional control is about breaking this habit. It is about pausing, taking a breath, and realizing that your reaction is always a choice. One of the best ways to train yourself in this area is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to observe your emotions as they arise without immediately reacting to them. Instead of letting anger, jealousy, or sadness take over, you learn to acknowledge the feeling, understand it, and then decide whether or not it deserves your attention. Imagine if every time you felt triggered, you simply asked yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time the answer will be no. That simple pause is often enough to prevent you from reacting in ways that you later regret. Mastering emotional control also requires a shift in perspective. Many people feel justified in reacting emotionally because they believe others made them feel a certain way. But the truth is, nobody can make you feel anything without your permission. People can speak, act, and behave however they want, but your interpretation and your response are always yours to own. When you understand this, you stop blaming others for your mood and start taking responsibility for your own emotional state. This responsibility is not a burden, it is empowerment. It means you are free from being at the mercy of other people's actions. Another key part of emotional control is patience. We live in a world where everything is instant messages, instant responses, instant gratification. This culture of speed has made people impatient and easily triggered. But patience is power. When you can wait before reacting, when you can delay your anger or hold back your words until you have clarity, you gain control over the situation. You prevent small issues from escalating into big conflicts. You protect your relationships, your reputation, and most importantly, your inner calm. Of course, mastering emotional control doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending not to feel. It's not about being cold or detached. It's about channeling your emotions wisely. Anger, for example, can destroy relationships if expressed recklessly, but when controlled, it can be used as fuel to stand up for yourself in the right way. Sadness can weaken you if you let it consume you, but when controlled, it can deepen your empathy and help you connect with others on a profound level. Emotional control is not about denying emotions, it's about guiding them to serve you instead of harm you. Ultimately, mastering emotional control leads to freedom. You stop being a puppet pulled by strings of anger, fear, or insecurity. You stop allowing every situation to dictate your day. Instead, you live with intention. You choose calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, and strength over weakness. This discipline allows you to remain unbothered in a world full of noise and distractions. And once you taste that freedom, you will never want to live any other way. Negativity is everywhere. It comes in many forms. Hurtful comments, toxic environments, draining relationships, constant complaints, and even the endless stream of negative news we consume. If you're not careful, negativity can become a heavy weight on your shoulders, robbing you of peace, joy, and focus. That's why one of the most powerful steps toward becoming unbothered is learning to detach from negativity. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about refusing to let negativity dominate your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The first thing to understand is that negativity is contagious. Just as being around positive, motivated people can lift your spirit, being surrounded by negative people can bring you down. If you spend time with people who complain all the time, criticize everything, and always see the worst in every situation, you'll eventually find yourself doing the same. That's why detaching from negativity often begins with protecting your environment. Ask yourself, who am I listening to? Who am I giving my energy to? If someone constantly feeds your mind with bitterness, drama, or doubt, it's time to set boundaries. You don't have to cut people off completely, but you can control how much space you give them in your life. Detaching from negativity also requires you to master the art of not taking things personally. Often, when someone is negative towards you, it has little to do with you and everything to do with them. A rude comment might reflect their insecurity. A harsh criticism might reveal their own dissatisfaction with life. When you internalize their negativity, you carry a burden that was never yours to begin with. But when you remind yourself that their words and actions are a reflection of them, not you, you gain the freedom to let it roll off your shoulders. You stop absorbing poison that was never meant for your spirit. Another crucial part of detachment is controlling what you consume. In today's digital age, negativity is amplified through social media, news channels, and online platforms. If you constantly scroll through conflict, drama, and bad news, don't be surprised when your mind feels heavy. Just as you wouldn't eat spoiled food every day, you shouldn't feed your mind with endless negativity. Be intentional about what you watch, read, and listen to. Choose content that inspires, uplifts, and strengthens you, rather than content that drags you into frustration or despair. But detaching from negativity doesn't just mean distancing yourself from external sources. It also means confronting your own internal negativity. Many people are their own harshest critics. They replay mistakes, doubt their worth, and sabotage themselves with negative self-talk. This inner voice can be more damaging than anything others say. That's why you must train yourself to challenge these thoughts. When negativity arises in your mind, ask, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it's hurting you, replace it with a stronger, more empowering belief. Detachment begins with refusing to be enslaved by your own destructive thoughts. It's also important to practice forgiveness as a form of detachment. Holding on to grudges and past hurts only ties you to negativity. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing bad behavior. It means freeing yourself from the emotional chains that keep you bound to that pain. When you forgive, you release bitterness and make room for peace. You say, I choose not to let this control me anymore. That is the ultimate act of detachment. Finally, detaching from negativity is about rising above the noise. The world will always have critics, haters, and doubters. But you don't have to engage with every battle. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Silence can be the most powerful response. Walking away can be the greatest victory. When you stop giving negativity your attention, it starves. And in that silence, you reclaim your energy, your clarity, and your strength. In the end, detaching from negativity is not just about avoiding toxic people or ignoring negative words. It's about building an inner shield that protects your peace no matter what surrounds you. It's about choosing light over darkness, positivity over pessimism, and growth over gossip. When you master this, you become unbothered, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Peace is priceless. In fact, your inner peace is one of the greatest treasures you can ever possess. Without peace of mind, success feels empty, relationships feel heavy, and life feels overwhelming. That is why protecting your inner peace is essential if you want to train yourself to be unbothered. Peace doesn't come from outside circumstances. It comes from within. And once you recognize that, you will guard it like your life depends on it. Protecting your peace begins with boundaries. Too many people give unlimited access to their time, energy, and emotions, and then wonder why they feel drained. Not everyone deserves front row seats in your life. Some people bring chaos, conflict, and negativity wherever they go, and if you let them, they will disrupt your peace without hesitation. Setting boundaries isn't about being rude. It's about being wise. It's about knowing your limits and making it clear what you will and will not accept. A simple no can protect your mental health more than 1,000 apologies for saying yes when you didn't want to. Another powerful way to protect your peace is by managing your energy. Think of your energy as currency. You can spend it on things that bring you joy and growth, or waste it on things that drain and exhaust you. Every argument, every negative conversation, every unnecessary worry is a withdrawal from your energy bank. If you don't protect it, you'll find yourself bankrupt emotionally and spiritually. To maintain peace, spend your energy wisely. Invest it in activities, people, and goals that nourish you instead of drain you. Protecting your inner peace also requires you to stop overthinking. Many people lose peace not because of what happens around them, but because of the stories they create in their minds. They replay the past, worry about the future, and imagine problems that don't even exist. Overthinking is like carrying weights that were never meant for you. To protect your peace, you must learn to let go of what you cannot control and live in the present moment. Ask yourself, can I do something about this right now? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, release it. Peace is found in surrendering to what you cannot change. Another key part of peace is practicing gratitude. When you focus on what's wrong, you attract stress, but when you focus on what's right, you cultivate calm. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It reminds you that even on difficult days, you still have blessings worth celebrating. Start small. Be grateful for the air you breathe, the food you eat, the people who love you, the opportunities that lie ahead. Gratitude softens the noise of life and brings a quiet strength to your heart. And when you are grateful, you are far less likely to be disturbed by negativity. To protect your peace, you must also learn the art of detachment. Not every battle is yours to fight, not every opinion is yours to respond to, and not every problem is yours to solve. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is step back and allow life to unfold without your interference. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to not lose sleep over things outside your control. Lastly, protecting your peace requires consistency. You can't treat peace as an occasional luxury. You must make it a daily priority. This means creating habits that nourish you. Meditation, journaling, prayer, exercise, or simply spending quiet time alone. These practices build an inner foundation that keeps you grounded even when life gets chaotic. The stronger your foundation, the harder it is for anything or anyone to shake your peace. In the end, protecting your inner peace is a commitment to yourself. It's choosing not to let the storms of life steal your calm. It's choosing silence over drama, clarity over confusion, and stillness over chaos. When you guard your peace, you guard your happiness, your health, and your strength. And once you learn how to protect it, you'll realize that nothing in this world is worth losing your peace of mind. One of the most effective ways to train yourself to be unbothered is by learning to focus on what truly matters in life. The truth is, so much of what disturbs us daily isn't important in the bigger picture. Petty arguments, meaningless gossip, other people's opinions, and temporary setbacks often take up space in our minds when they don't deserve it. By sharpening your focus, you redirect your energy toward the things that actually bring you closer to peace, fulfillment, and growth. The first step in focusing on what matters is clarity. Many people are constantly distracted because they don't have a clear vision of what they want. Without direction, it's easy to get caught up in every little disturbance. But when you know your goals, your values, and your priorities, you automatically filter out distractions. For example, if your priority is building a strong career, why waste time arguing with someone who doubts your ability? If your priority is maintaining good health, why let stress and negativity drain your energy? Clarity acts as a compass, guiding your attention to what deserves it and helping you ignore what doesn't. Another key to focusing on what matters is learning to distinguish between the urgent and the important. Life will always present you with demands that feel urgent, emails, deadlines, conflicts, notifications. But not all of them are truly important. What matters are the things that contribute to your long-term growth, happiness, and peace. Family, personal development, health, meaningful relationships, and inner fulfillment. These are the things that last. When you start prioritizing them over temporary noise, you discover a deeper sense of purpose and peace. Focusing on what matters also means letting go of perfectionism. Many people waste time worrying about how others see them or trying to meet unrealistic standards. They stress over mistakes, failures, or imperfections, forgetting that these things are part of growth. When you're obsessed with pleasing everyone or proving yourself, you lose sight of what truly matters, living authentically and moving forward. True freedom comes when you stop chasing perfection and start focusing on progress, purpose, and peace. Another important aspect of focus is managing your time wisely. Time is one of the most precious resources you have, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Ask yourself, how much of my time is spent on things that don't matter? Endless scrolling, gossip, unnecessary conflicts, and holding grudges all waste valuable moments of your life. Imagine if you redirected that time toward learning, building, loving, and creating. Not only would you be more unbothered by distractions, but you would also move closer to the life you want. Focusing on what truly matters also requires you to practice selective attention. Not every comment deserves your reply, not every criticism deserves your defense, and not every situation deserves your presence. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response. Silence doesn't mean weakness, it means wisdom. It means you understand that your time and energy are too valuable to waste on things that don't contribute to your peace. Finally, focusing on what matters is about living intentionally. Instead of drifting through life, reacting to whatever comes your way, you choose how to live each day. You choose to nurture relationships that bring joy instead of clinging to toxic ones. You choose to invest in self-growth instead of wasting energy on envy or comparison. You choose to pursue purpose instead of chasing distractions. This intentional way of living keeps you aligned with what truly matters and makes it much easier to stay unbothered by the noise around you. At the end of the day, life is short. Years from now, the small arguments, the rude comments, and the unnecessary worries won't matter. What will matter is how much love you gave, how much peace you cultivated, and how much purpose you lived with. That's why focusing on what truly matters isn't just a strategy, it's a way of life. And when you commit to it, you'll find yourself calmer, stronger, and unshaken by the things that once bothered you. Confidence is not about arrogance or showing off. It's about having a deep trust in yourself and your worth, regardless of what others think or say. When you build unshakable confidence, you create a shield that protects you from criticism, rejection, and negativity. You no longer depend on external validation to feel good about yourself, and as a result, you become truly unbothered. Confidence is the silent strength that allows you to walk into any room, face any challenge, and live authentically without needing permission from the world. The first step in building unshakable confidence is self-acceptance. Many people lack confidence because they are at war with themselves. They focus on their flaws, compare themselves to others, and constantly feel inadequate. But the truth is, no one in this world is perfect. Everyone has weaknesses, insecurities, and failures. Confidence comes when you stop trying to be flawless and start embracing who you are, strengths, flaws, and everything in between. When you accept yourself fully, you no longer feel the need to apologize for existing. You show up as your authentic self, and authenticity is the foundation of confidence. Another powerful aspect of confidence is competence. The more you master your skills and work on your personal growth, the more confident you naturally become. Think about it. When you know you've put in the work, when you've sharpened your craft, when you've prepared yourself, you walk into situations with quiet assurance. Confidence is not built overnight. It's built day by day through discipline, learning, and consistency. Every small achievement adds a brick to the wall of your confidence until it becomes unshakable. To build lasting confidence, you must also break free from comparison. In today's world, it's easy to scroll through social media and feel like you're not good enough compared to others. But comparison is a thief. It steals your joy and undermines your progress. True confidence comes when you realize you are not in competition with anyone else. Your journey, your timing, and your story are unique. When you stop measuring your worth against others, you free yourself to grow at your own pace and celebrate your own victories. Another important part of unshakable confidence is resilience. Life will test you. You will face rejection, failure, and disappointment. But confidence is not about avoiding these experiences. It's about rising after them. Every setback can either crush your spirit or strengthen your belief in yourself. The key is to see failure not as proof of inadequacy, but as a stepping stone toward growth. When you develop resilience, you become confident that no matter what happens, you will find a way to move forward. That is a confidence no one can take away. Confidence also comes from how you carry yourself. Your body language, your posture, your tone of voice, all of these communicate belief in yourself. Even when you don't feel confident, Practicing confident behavior can trick your mind into building real confidence. Stand tall, make eye contact, speak with clarity, and act with purpose. Over time, these habits reinforce the mindset of confidence until it becomes second nature. Finally, building unshakable confidence means anchoring your identity in something deeper than external approval. If your confidence depends on people praising you, liking you, or validating you, it will always be fragile. But when your confidence is rooted in your values, your principles, and your self-worth, it becomes unshakable. You no longer crumble when criticized or rejected because you know who you are, what you stand for, and what you are capable of. At the core, confidence is freedom, the freedom to live authentically, to take risks, to pursue your goals without fear of judgment. When you build unshakable confidence, you no longer chase validation, you no longer fear disapproval, and you no longer allow negativity to disturb your peace. You walk through life grounded, calm, and truly unbothered. The ultimate reward of training yourself to be unbothered is living with freedom and balance. Freedom does not mean having no responsibilities, and balance does not mean life is always perfect. Instead, it means creating a way of living where your choices, your peace, and your happiness are not controlled by outside noise, toxic people, or temporary circumstances. When you reach this stage, you are no longer surviving life, you are truly living it. Living with freedom begins with letting go of the need for approval. Many people live as prisoners of what others think. They shape their actions, their goals, and even their dreams around other people's opinions. But the truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. If you succeed, they may envy you. If you fail, they may laugh at you. If you play it safe, they may call you boring. There is no winning in seeking approval. Freedom comes when you finally realize that you don't need permission to be yourself. When you let go of the weight of other people's expectations, you free yourself to pursue what truly matters to you. Balance, on the other hand, is about managing life in a way that protects your well-being. Too much focus on work can burn you out. Too much focus on leisure can make you unproductive. Too much focus on others can make you neglect yourself. Balance is the art of giving time and energy to the areas that matter: career, relationships, health, spirituality, without losing yourself in the process. It's about knowing when to push forward and when to rest, when to speak and when to stay silent, when to give and when to step back. Balance ensures that your life flows instead of constantly feeling like a battlefield. Another part of living with freedom and balance is detachment from control. Most stress in life comes from trying to control what we cannot. People, outcomes, timing, and circumstances are often beyond our power. The more you try to control them, the more frustrated you become. Freedom and balance come when you learn to let go of control and trust the process. Do your best, but accept that some things are beyond you. This mindset allows you to move through life with peace, no longer fighting battles that were never yours to fight. Living freely also means embracing simplicity. The world often teaches us that happiness comes from more money, more possessions, more status. But chasing more without purpose only leads to exhaustion. True freedom comes when you realize that happiness is in less drama, less stress, less clutter. Simplicity gives you space to focus on what truly matters and protects your balance from being consumed by things that don't. Balance is also about emotional alignment. Too often, people sacrifice their mental health for external achievements. They work hard, succeed publicly, but feel empty privately. Living with balance means refusing to trade your peace for progress. It means achieving without losing yourself, succeeding without sacrificing your joy, and giving without draining your soul. This balance makes you sustainable. It ensures that your success and happiness can last for the long run. Finally, living with freedom and balance is about presence. Many people miss out on life because they're too busy worrying about the past or obsessing about the future. Freedom is not somewhere in tomorrow. It is here in this moment. Balance is not about achieving everything perfectly. It is about appreciating what you have right now while working toward what you want. When you live in the present, you stop being controlled by regrets and anxieties. You find peace in simply being. In the end, living with freedom and balance is not about escaping life's challenges. It's about approaching them with calm, strength, and wisdom. It's about knowing yourself so deeply that you no longer bend under pressure or lose yourself in chaos. This way of life doesn't just make you unbothered, it makes you unstoppable. Because when you are free and balanced, Nothing outside you can disturb the harmony within you.